What if something as ordinary as baking soda, the same white powder you use to freshen your fridge, could quietly support your strength, stamina, and confidence in the bedroom? It sounds almost too simple, too common. But that's exactly why most men overlook it. You see, I've spent over 30 years helping men over 60 navigate the silent frustrations that come with aging: low energy, slower circulation, weaker erections, and that subtle sense that something just isn't firing like it used to. And while we often turn to prescriptions or expensive supplements, sometimes the answers are hiding in plain sight. In this case, in your kitchen cabinet, baking soda, yes, sodium bicarbonate, may seem like an unlikely hero. But the research, the stories I've heard from men just like you, and the transformations I've witnessed all tell a different story, one that starts not with shame or medication, but with a glass of water, a pinch of powder, and a renewed sense of possibility. So before you brush this off, stay with me, because what you're about to discover might just surprise you, and more importantly, it might help you feel like yourself again. And it all begins with understanding what's really going on inside your body after 60. Frank was 67 when he first came to see me, retired electrician, proud father of 3, still walked his dog every morning, but behind his steady smile, something was off. He leaned forward in the chair, eyes a little tired, voice quieter than usual. "Doc," he said, "I'm just not feeling like myself anymore. My drive's gone. I've got no energy, and things in the bedroom, they've all but disappeared." This wasn't about performance for Frank. It was about identity. Confidence, the kind of quiet strength that made him feel like a man, even after all these years. His blood pressure was creeping up. His circulation wasn't great, and the medications he tried left him feeling flat and disconnected. So we took a different route, a gentler one. We cleaned up his daily routine, adjusted his hydration, and yes, we introduced a small dose of something simple, baking soda and water, first thing in the morning. Now, I'm not saying it was magic, but within a few weeks, Frank started noticing small changes. His morning walks felt easier, his mind felt clearer, and slowly the spark began to return. Sometimes the shift isn't a big bang. It's quiet, gradual, but real. And what made the biggest difference? Understanding what was really happening inside Frank's body, and how something so simple could start to shift it. Let's take a closer look. So many men over 60 come to me with the same quiet frustration. They'll say, "I still feel the desire, but my body doesn't seem to follow." And here's what I always tell them: you're not broken. You're not weak. You're not alone. What you're feeling is biology, and more importantly, it's not your fault. After 60, a few key things shift inside the body. Your blood vessels don't expand as easily as they used to. That's because your nitric oxide levels, your natural blood flow booster, start to decline. Testosterone, the hormone that fuels energy, drive, and muscle tone, also dips, and the tissues that used to be elastic and responsive, they start to lose their bounce. It's like asking an old rubber band to stretch the same way it did 30 years ago. It just can't. But here's the part no one talks about. None of this means the end. It just means your body needs a different kind of support than it did in your 30s. And once you understand what's really happening under the surface, the solutions start to make sense, especially the natural ones that support blood flow, pH balance, and energy from the inside out. So now that you know it's not just in your head, let's talk about the surprising connection between acidity in your body and the strength of your circulation. Did you know your blood's pH, the balance between acid and alkaline, can quietly impact how well your blood flows? Especially down there, it's not something most men think about. But here's the twist: when your body becomes even slightly too acidic, your blood vessels can start to tighten. And when those vessels tighten, less oxygen, less nutrients, and less blood reaches the places that matter most, like your heart, your brain, and yes, your bedroom performance. Think of it like trying to water your garden through a pinched hose. The pressure's there, but the flow just isn't making it where it needs to go. This kind of low-grade acidosis can sneak up over time through stress, processed food, lack of hydration, and aging, and it's one of the silent roadblocks to healthy circulation, energy, and vitality. But here's the encouraging part. The body is incredibly responsive when you give it the right support. Even a small shift in pH toward a more balanced alkaline state can help those blood vessels relax, improve flow, and restore a sense of strength and stamina. And that brings us back to baking soda. Simple, natural, overlooked, but its ability to help neutralize excess acidity. That's where the real story begins. Let's explore how it works and why so many men feel the difference after just a few minutes. Here's where things get interesting, because once we understand how excess acidity tightens blood vessels and chokes off blood flow, the next question is obvious. What can help bring the body back into balance? This is where that little box of baking soda, yes, the same stuff you use in the fridge, suddenly becomes a quiet hero in men's health. Baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate, is a natural alkaline compound. Its main job, neutralize acid, and when taken in small, safe amounts, it can help shift your body's internal pH toward a more balanced, less acidic state. And when the acidity drops, those constricted blood vessels start to relax. Think of it like loosening a belt after a big meal. Everything flows a little easier. This isn't just about circulation either. Men who have used baking soda properly have reported better energy, less bloating, improved urination, and even a clearer mind. It's subtle, but the impact can be profound, especially when your body has been fighting uphill for years. Now, I'm not saying baking soda is a miracle cure, but I've seen what happens when the body gets back into flow, literally. And in the next section, we're going to break down 10 ways this simple powder can support the very systems that matter most to men over 60. You might be surprised by what's on the list. Now, before you rush to the kitchen and start scooping, let's talk safety. Because while baking soda can be powerful, it's not something to overdo. Here's your fully developed voiceover Eddie script segment for Section 6. 10 benefits of baking soda for erections and vitality. Now that you understand why baking soda matters, let's talk about the real-world benefits, especially for men over 60. Because this isn't just theory. This is about practical, powerful shifts your body can feel. Let's break it down. Number 1. Baking soda helps boost blood flow by reducing excess acidity. When vessels relax, more blood can reach where it needs to go. Yes, even down there. 2. It helps manage inflammation, especially in sensitive areas like the prostate. Less inflammation means better comfort, control, and performance. 3. It may support nitric oxide production, the very molecule responsible for strong, lasting erections. 4. A more balanced pH leads to better vascular health, stronger, more flexible blood vessels. 5. There's some evidence it may support testosterone retention, especially when combined with proper hydration and minerals. 6. It can enhance oxygen delivery to your muscles. That means more stamina for walks, workouts, or whatever you've got planned after dinner. 7. It helps lower insulin resistance, a silent contributor to erectile issues in aging men. 8. It supports your body's detox systems, helping your liver and kidneys filter waste more efficiently. 9. Many men report better overall energy and endurance when using baking soda regularly in small, safe doses. And 10. It helps reduce uric acid, which can contribute to joint pain, fatigue, and overall sluggishness. 10 simple, powerful ways this humble powder can support your body's natural rhythm and strength. Now, you're probably wondering, how do you actually use it? How much? How often? And is it safe? Let's go there next. The goal here is balance, not extremes. So if you're thinking more must be better, pause right there. Here's what I recommend to most of my patients. Start with a quarter teaspoon of baking soda dissolved in a full glass of water. Take it on an empty stomach, preferably in the morning. Do this 2 to 3 times a week, not daily. That's enough to begin supporting your internal pH without overloading your system. And if you're on medication for blood pressure, kidney function, or heart issues, always check with your doctor first. Sodium bicarbonate, while natural, still affects fluid balance and can interact with certain conditions. Also, never take it right after a large meal. It can interfere with digestion or cause bloating. And skip it entirely if you're on a low sodium diet unless your physician gives you the green light. The bottom line, used correctly, baking soda can be a simple, helpful addition. Used carelessly, it can create setbacks. Now that you know how to use it wisely, let's dive into something that might frustrate you a little. Why haven't more doctors talked about this before? Now here's something I want to be honest about, because most men never hear this part. Why don't more doctors talk about baking soda? Simple, there's no money in it. It's not a prescription. There's no brand behind it, no glossy ads, no reps handing out free samples in the clinic. It's just baking soda, and because of that, it slips through the cracks. Not because it doesn't work, but because it doesn't make anyone rich. See, the modern medical system is incredible in many ways, but it's also busy, overbooked, and frankly, focused on managing symptoms with medications, not always exploring low-cost, natural solutions that take time and patience. So no, you probably won't find this in your standard treatment plan. But that doesn't mean it's not worth your attention. In fact, it's exactly these simple, overlooked tools that often create the biggest shift, especially when they work with your body, not against it. And if this makes you feel a little frustrated or even a bit skeptical, that's okay. That means you're paying attention. You should ask questions. You should expect better answers. And that's why, before we wrap up, I want to give you something concrete. How to actually use baking soda safely and effectively in your daily routine. Let's get into the details. If there's one thing I want you to walk away with, it's this: you're not broken. You're not too old, and you haven't missed your window. You've just been missing the right tools. The truth is, your body hasn't given up on you. It's been quietly asking for support, and sometimes that support doesn't come in the form of a prescription. Sometimes it starts with a teaspoon of something simple, a shift in how you treat yourself, and a belief that better days are still ahead. I've worked with men who thought their best years were behind them, men who had given up on intimacy, energy, even hope. And I've seen those same men come back to life, not by chasing miracle cures, but by making smart, steady changes that respected their bodies and honored their dignity. You deserve that too. So if something as small as baking soda could be part of your healing journey, why not give your body the chance? Because this isn't just about erections or blood flow. It's about strength, confidence, and feeling like yourself again. You've still got time, you've still got options, and most importantly, you've still got you. Here's a fully developed voiceover, Eddie script segment combining all three unique angles, delivered in a warm, story-driven, emotionally supportive tone. If you're the kind of man who likes to see results for yourself, here's a little morning ritual I often recommend. Simple, quick, but surprisingly powerful. Start your day with a glass of room temperature water. Add just a teaspoon of baking soda, nothing more, and drink it on an empty stomach. Do this 2 or 3 mornings a week to begin. That's it, but here's the twist. This isn't just about what's in the glass. It's about how you start your day. With intention, with support, and with a small act of self-respect. One of my patients, Tom, 71 years old, told me something interesting. After a few weeks of this routine, his wife noticed before he did. She said, "You've got more spark lately. You're joking again. You're even humming in the kitchen." That wasn't about the baking soda alone. It was about how small changes, done consistently, show up in the way we carry ourselves. And if you want a little proof of progress, you can pick up some pH test strips from the pharmacy. Just dip one in your urine first thing in the morning. You'll see if your body is leaning too acidic or gently coming back into balance. It's a small ritual, but for many men it becomes a turning point. Because when you begin the day with care, your body starts listening, and when it listens, it starts to respond.